Morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me as we take a look at your weekend forecast for November 17th through the 19th. And weather for this weekend is going to start off warm, really warm today, at least compared to normal standards. And then we've got a front moving through tonight into tomorrow morning. That'll bring some rain, light rain mostly, and it'll mostly be while it's dark tonight. And then we'll dry out some tomorrow. Still have a bunch of clouds around, but we'll also be cooling off. And it'll be kind of gusty, breezy on Sunday. And cooler and kind of pretty typical for this time of year as we head into your Thanksgiving week. I have a little bit of a preview of some potential things to keep an eye on for Thanksgiving week, travel-wise at least, but a little too early to tell details. But first of all, what's going on? We have some mostly tropical energy here with a low pressure off the southeast coast, along with this front. A little bit of a tropical connection kind of enhancing the precipitation with this front. This is what's going to make its way towards us tonight. The precipitation should hold off until tonight. We're starting off with mostly sunny skies, but we are going to move more clouds in as we go throughout the day as the front gets closer to us. And by evening and dark comes pretty early now, so by 5, 6 o'clock, we could be starting to get into those showers. I think they hold off until after sunset, but it's going to be pretty close to that. And they should be wrapped out and pushed through by the time we get to tomorrow morning. And then we'll just have clouds left over. And I think the clouds will linger pretty good for a lot of the day tomorrow. Let's take a quick look at what that looks like on radar. You can see that if the radar there is a decent amount of moisture with this, although not anything too heavy. It is, again, getting a little bit of a tap from the Atlantic and from the system that's off the coast that you can't really see. You can see a little of the rain kind of swirling around off the southeast coast here. That's tapping in a little bit, but not enough. It's not as if this system is going to race up the coast and kind of combine into a lot of rain. That's not happening. Thankfully, that's a good thing. But that is pushing giving a little bit of a boost to the moisture as it pushes through. Also, you can see we've got these several little iterations of warm fronts. That's what's really pushed, and we have southwest flow pushed the warm air up into our area, which is why we're going to have temperatures way above 15 degrees, maybe almost 20 degrees above normal for today for high temperatures, close to 60. Some places will be above 60 in the valley locations, which, again, that's you don't get too many of those days in November, so enjoy it while you can, and know that this is the last of those days for the foreseeable future, maybe for winter, who knows, that we're in the mid-60s, certainly in some of those valley locations. That's not going to happen again for quite some time. There's nothing in the forecast that looks like that going forward. As a matter of fact, we'll turn a little bit more wintry. That's the look for next week, and we'll have to keep an eye on how wintry, but we'll get there when we get there. So here is what's happening. Midday today, here's that front. The precipitation is all out in front of that front. We've got high pressure building in behind it. That's going to be our weather by the time we get to Sunday to an extent. Here's that low pressure system off the southeast coast. As we head forward with that, by this evening, you can see the front is really starting to approach us. And by that time, the precipitation out ahead of it will be impacting southern Vermont. So like I said, time frame on that, I think everything holds off till at least 4, 5, 6 o'clock, probably 5 or 6 o'clock. Like I said, I think after dark for the most part. But anytime after that, we could see some light precipitation come through. It'll probably come through as kind of a chunk of light to moderate precipitation, really not more than probably a third of an inch, maybe a half an inch in some spots of precip. So just kind of a wetting rain. Temperatures will be quite warm as we go through the overnight. Before we get to Saturday morning, Friday overnight, the front really is approaching us. And at this point, we're kind of in the heart of when it's going to be raining. But by tomorrow morning, by Saturday morning, front is kind of on top of us, but it's pushing through. Temperatures will still be warm here, but we'll be starting to cool off. So actually, our high temperatures happen overnight tonight, and then tomorrow afternoon, our lows will actually probably tomorrow overnight, our lows for the day will happen, but Saturday night into Sunday. But essentially, temperatures will be cooling throughout the day. So in the morning, we'll probably still be in the 50s, maybe even, certainly falling through the 40s in the morning. By Saturday afternoon, we're down in the upper 30s probably for a lot of southern Vermont. Clouds are a little bit behind the front as well, so it'll take a little bit of time for them to come through. And what's going to happen after that is this front and the low pressure system, which at that point will be riding kind of up the coast, well off to the offshore, but will eventually kind of combine into a single storm over eastern Canada, and that will wrap some wind around and help tap some cooler temperatures from Quebec and Ontario into our area. And that will give us a chance for some gusty winds, Sunday is going to feel pretty wintry. Temperatures won't be terrible, probably in the mid to upper 30s for most of us, but wind chills will be in the 20s, especially at elevation. They'll be in the low 20s all day. It'll feel cold, and there could be a few flurries around. Nothing that's going to cause any kind of issues on the roads or anything like that, and probably won't even whiten the grassy surfaces, but could see some flurries in the air kind of on the backside of the system on Sunday. So let's take a look at what that looks like in terms of the actual forecast. I've got 58 for high there. I think that's even a little bit low. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those valley locations got to mid 60s today with a little bit of the sun this morning. Again, the sun is mostly happening before noon today, and then the clouds kind of really set in. Rain overnight. This is like light to moderate rain. Low temperatures really don't move down much, 50s. But tomorrow we start off warmer than 37, but by the afternoon we're in the 30s, upper 30s, mid 30s in some locations, and temperatures continuing to fall. The clouds hold on through most of the day. Might see a peek or two of sun in the afternoon tomorrow. Then we clear out overnight. And the wind hasn't really kicked up too dramatically yet Saturday night, although it'll be a little breezy behind the front. But temperatures in the mid-20s. But then on Sunday, I didn't put breezy here, but it will be breezy. 25, 35 mile an hour gusts easily on Sunday. So nothing that I think is going to cause any power outage kind of issues. I mean, maybe a very isolated one, but for the most part, but it definitely could be breezy. And it'll feel chilly with a few flurries around and some sun mixed in there as well. Temperatures in the upper 30s, maybe low 40s for some of the valley locations, and we cool off into the low 20s. Good snowmaking as the ski areas try to get going, which brings us to our last weekend highlight. We'll talk briefly about potential for next week. So above average temperatures for Friday into Saturday morning. A front moves through Friday night, that's tonight, and Saturday morning with a round of rain. Breezy and cooler on the backside of the front, particularly on Sunday. A few flurries on Sunday. They will not impact travel. And then we're looking towards a storm next Tuesday into Wednesday, probably Tuesday night into Wednesday. The Bears watching for winter weather. The details on that are very undetermined at this point still. There is a chance that the storm will be mostly rain. There's definitely some models that have indicated that direction. There's a chance it's snow or frozen precipitation moving towards rain. That's probably the most likely scenario, although by no means a lock in it. But there are a couple models who keep it all snow and have it be a pretty big deal snow-wise. So we're definitely going to have to keep a close eye on that. It's a very busy travel day, both on the roads and certainly in the air as well. It'd be more impact on the roads because if it's even if it's the snowy scenario, that'll mostly be in southern Vermont, not in other locations. Although just the rain and wind associated with the storm, even if it's all rain, probably will make for a little bit of headache if you're trying to fly on Wednesday. Because flying the day before Thanksgiving is always a headache anyway. So I wish I had better news on that, but mostly just an impact for the northeastern United States in that regard. So trying to give you a kind of big picture of some of the details on that. I'll definitely have more details on that. I'll probably have a couple forecasts out for you. Probably maybe try to do something on Sunday afternoon, evening for you about it, and then I'll have my normal Monday morning forecast for you. And if we need an update on Tuesday, if it does start to really look like it's going to be high impact, then we'll have one on Tuesday as well. So that's the plan. There's going to be a bunch of forecasts coming out, which is why if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel before, you should do it. It helps make sure you don't miss any videos, especially when we start doing more of these videos and it's not just Mondays and Fridays. And also want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. They help support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy. If you're interested in becoming a patron, there are some benefits that come along with that. You can click in the link in the description below. It helps tell you what happens there, what you get for that. And these are people who really help support what I do here and help make the channel happen. So I really appreciate them. And I will be back. Like I said, I'll definitely be back on Monday with a look at the work week forecast. Might have a forecast for you Sunday, particularly if the frozen threat is looking a little more concrete. And we'll have a couple forecasts for you next week to detail the impacts on travel as it pertains to the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. So thanks for being here, and we'll be back on Monday or maybe even on